And everybody, welcome to the Steuben County Drainage Board meeting, April 7th, 2025. First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. First and second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Second item, utility permit application. Number 612, Joseph Rose Lateral, Whiskey Bravo Venture LLC, and number 518, William Paul Freeman Regulated Open Drain. Let's go.
Yep, the first one is number 612 Joseph Rose, the Whiskey Bravo Ventures. The applicant is present today if you have any questions. They're basically going to be doing what NIPSCO calls a forced utility relocation because they want to get utility services where you're at, and it was kind of cheaper for you to run the route instead.
Well, kind of, we're basically, if I may, burying the utility lines at the end of the runway for a safety improvement.
Moving poles too, right?
Yeah, and moving poles and, we're, Mark Contracting is doing the excavation for the burying of the conduit. That's a cost savings versus NIPSCO doing the conduit.
You go out to look at it.
Yeah, I can now locate the drain. Couldn't see any evidence of where it was, no riser pipes.
Will you probably just call us as your?
So I backed a couple of spots along 300 where we're planning to dig, and I backed about the width of a bucket, a little more, and about 4 feet deep. And I used the drainage map to try and locate where it come across the road. I couldn't find it. I used some witching sticks and kind of got it out across the runway, 10, 12 feet away from where we're going to be. But the only one that would be of an issue is the one that comes across the road. That would be where we were crossing it, right in that area there. And I mean,
I think if you would call us the morning of that you're out there, so maybe we can run out there and as you're crossing it.
That's fine. And if I find it, I'll let you know. And
If not,
so I got it in front of roots and stuff. So that goes right through that wooded area. So
it's probably destroyed.
if it was 1920, then
Yeah,
but absolutely, I have no problem with that. Jim.
and I'll give you my cell too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anywhere?
No, I don't think so. Need a motion?
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
For second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Your application will need to stop. Those are both for.
Item number 3, request for approval for a
We still have
$32,000.
to do NIPSCO yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The 518 William Pepper Regulated Open Drain Scheme.
They're just gonna go underneath the open ditch. I think it's across, is it Willard Street? Yeah. They're extending some utilities there as well along that road. And they would just be crossing that one open ditch, and he said that he agreed, yes, he would be 2 feet underneath the open ditch.
2 feet?
Actually, I think our minimum is like at least 2, and he said he'll probably go like 5.
It'd be nice,
5.
just in case, whoever dips out that ditch gets a little bit aggressive.
So this is saying 5 feet if I read it right. This is saying 5 feet if I'm reading this correctly.
Okay, so open drain, yeah, minimum of 3 to 5 feet. So yeah.
Yep.
There any plans of cleaning or upgrading or anything with it?
It was just dipped out about 4 to 5 years ago, I believe. So probably not for a little while. We went north of Willett Street.
It does look in pretty good shape until we
It
get
does.
just before the retention of the wetlands. So there's a little area. We've been here, we need to work on this year. Yeah, this all looks pretty good, the old Chiefs' property. So it's pretty well maintained.
You're crossing this right along the road. East side of Willard, down there.
It's gonna be on the east side of Woolard, and it's gonna go all the way to Hoosier Drive. The 8-inch, 25, so it's basically 2,500 feet of 8-inch plastic gas main.
It's right in the backside of John Deere, then just north of it. there.
Yeah, just north of the Council on Aging. Interesting that they're putting an 8-inch. Further discussion.
Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
I'm not getting the other one back yet. Bravo.
I completed here.
Look at the minutes. That's it.
Good. Okay, I might have just grabbed
I
it.
passed it down.
Okay, yeah, that one's it.
Item number 3, pond request for approval for a 32,775 square foot pond. Levi Shaw.
Yeah, I think quite like this was one where this guy already had done it and then, or something, I think Charlie was working with them. So I
Yeah,
just-
he's fine with us. He's legal with us. He's met all the requirements of our ordinance. So it's basically a DNR digging and had to do some more engineering and whatnot. What I understand, but as far as I know, as of right now, he's perfectly legal with everybody. Well. Everybody outside this room.
I know too, though, as far as Fish Creek going into that, there's gonna be some extra DNR type of stuff that's above me, if they're gonna put the outlet of their pond into that. My
It's,
understanding is they've been,
it's not a regulated drain, so it's out of our right away, but it is Fish Creek. But I think he did everything he was supposed to do to comply with DNR, and there was a stack like about this big,
okay,
so,
Christopher Burke even designed it.
Well,
okay.
yeah.
that's probably done right then, most likely.
Yeah.
That you good work.
So it's just because of the size.
Yeah.
Well, just for his outlet too, you remember too, there's even something I have to jump through some loops to
Yeah.
even to replace an existing one that would go into like Fish Creek or something like that, so.
Says
Over 10,000.
it doesn't have anything to do with the size of the pond as much as the.
It's the size of the pond. If it's over 10,000 square feet, then it has to come in front of the board, but there's no regulated drain. It's not our jurisdiction for that.
Well, that we just passed the plan.
Basically that, if it's above the 10th. I mean, there's other stuff there, but yeah, that's basically the trigger. But before that, it can be basically any size and bypass the process.
Wasn't it located in a flood zone or something too, and that's what they got?
It's possible. It might be like DNR has a little more involvement.
Yeah.
He's already built. Sorry. I'll second it.
I don't believe he's built the pond yet, has he?
I think it's there.
He's already there, so it just doesn't show it, so.
Because I have not driven out there.
Yeah, Charlie was dealing with it mostly, but I think he got caught or somebody reported him because he was already doing the pond and that's when DNR was called in and they intercepted the whole thing and he had to comply with their requirements and he's fulfilled all that.
But now he's pulling permits through the county.
That was one of the stipulations from DNR that you go through all agencies and get all permits required.
So, okay.
So we're just the last one.
Yep. Seems to be a lot of dirt and drains moving in that general area of the county. And they do it and then ask for forgiveness.
You got that, hey, I think I'll know number to do that.
He says to be called in and he's told he did not need a permit.
Which is probably true because when he called in, he probably did not need anything from us.
Six-
The rules
six months or a
changed.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. That same guy that said he was gonna bring in plans to us and he never did, that we kind of had set off to the side and just,
That's fine. That is a possibility. All right, first and the second. Discussion, so. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Item number four, the deputy surveyor agreement.
that was tentative, but I haven't gotten their signed agreement back yet, so.
Table that.
Never done.
Number 5. Number 508, Delta Gleason Watershed Assessment. Commissioner Pete has seasonal business Fremont, 2 parcels, is now being assessed $300 per commercial property.
That's the Pete's Farm present. We had that hearing, to raise the rates and we started tier rates rather than just one flat rate. They're buying this on contract. So apparently the tax sale or the tax record still had it as Iris Kirkpatrick and her address, which apparently she's not even living there anymore. We did get it returned back when we sent out the hearing notices. And then on the Loud site, it did have some contract information, so we resent it to that address, which is in Michigan, but I don't know if something crossed or whatever, and she didn't get it in time. But she was one of those where she was only paying the residential flat rate minimum assessment, and now she has both of those commercial lots, and she's getting hit for $300 per parcel. And all the surrounding commercial properties around here are sloped towards her, so she's getting all of their drainage. Apparently, it has to be that those, I don't know, there was some catch basins out there.
There is. Yeah, there's one out there that is actually about a foot higher than it needs to be. It serves no purpose.
We still get water in the store
Yeah.
itself. We get it in our garages as well.
The building behind our store there, there's no drainage for his roof, for his
Eaves troughs.
eaves troughs. It comes right at our place. Balm Road is supposed to be crowned, so where we split half the water, everything is slanted our way, so we get all the water of Balm We get the water from US 120, and then the parking lot where Corvette Connection is, he has 0 drains in that parking lot, and that whole parking lot slants our way, so we get all of his water. So we're just one big toilet all the way around.
We're still the dumping ground for
And
the water. We still collect it.
2-3 days ago, we ended up with 4 to 6 inches of water in our store, in our floor,
I emailed pictures over for that.
that we have to now spend 2 weeks of cleanup.
It's just a seasonal business as well.
We're not supposed to be open until next, first week of next month.
Have you notified the town of Fremont of some of these issues?
We thought everything was resolved because we would get very little water this whole time since you guys have put the new drains in. And then we went into our store and it was, the water had receded, but you could see in the pictures where the water was up high.
At the bottom of that cabinet, you can see how dark it is. So that's how much water we had in there. And I'm not sure,
And
Michelle.
that's all mud and dirt right there from the parking lots that came into our store that we've got to clean up.
I'm not sure what day, Michelle, we were, that rain, that day after that, we had all that rain. Then Friday, we'd actually come back into town.
Yes, I think.
That's us mopping up some of the water that we could get out of there. But periodically, when we would get a lot of water, it would come up through any kind of cracks that were in the concrete. So we were still getting water, mopping it up. Because like I said, and you can see the line right there. It's 10 inches of water that was in that parking lot coming in our
The
door.
bottom of the.
That is the line mark.
Yep. we can
Then there
see.
should be one more right there. That's how high up the water came in.
We still get.
Yes. There's the door it comes into. And that's our garage. That's how much water we got in our garage. Our garage is a 40 by 40 4-car garage. That's full of items. That chair's got to be thrown away. All them other cabinets have got to be thrown away.
And I'm not sure, Michelle, if you got my email.
I did this morning.
So basically what I asked in the email is being the fact that we're still being drainage issues, water issues, that I'm asking that we be exempt from this drainage tax because we are still paying out every time it floods. I mean, nobody's compensating us for the loss of merchandise, for our time, for the cleanup, and for us to have to now pay the extra money for this drainage that we're still having issues with. It's not resolved for us. It may be for the rest of the county or the city, but it's not for us.
But the water is coming off of neighboring properties, correct?
They were not, I don't know if they weren't inspected properly because, that's a lot of concrete for that guy to have for his parking lot.
Yeah.
And to have no drains put in and have that whole concrete slab going at us. It's the same thing with Balm Road. We get every bit of that water from Balm Road. The crown is not there. It comes right at us.
Have you talked to the town of Fremont? Because that's their jurisdiction on that.
They've known about this.
Okay.
And we've showed them, that you've got a big drain out there on the west side, about where your pointer is, that sticks up a foot higher than the parking lot. It serves no purpose. It was a waste of time.
Just below that pointer, you can see all that mud.
The town made, Greg, can you zoom out a little bit? Keep zooming out. I will tell you, the neighbor to the north, right here, complained too about drainage. This property here is draining. I will tell you that this, all the way to the river, we fixed last year. So we had an issue. Greg, is this where the mud bogging pit was? We had some guys with their 4-wheelers and their trucks that were mudding in here. So this has been repaired. So I know from here on is good. We may go out there again. If it's any kind, we had many, many people flooded. I know that doesn't help. I think you stepped up and stuff too. So it
Water all flows to the east.
It goes to the south and the east. I keep zooming out there. Where we at? Where the apartments at, right? Right here. So this has all been fixed in through here now. All downstream has been fixed. So we know that that is good. But again, there's some city stuff running through there, and I too did not have much luck from the drainage from the town of Hamilton. They don't seem to have. I'm sorry, Fremont. They don't seem to have.
Well, my question would be, is that catch basin ours or is it the town's?
Is it right on top of the tile?
So it's gonna be pretty close.
It's gotta be close. He said it was in this area.
Yeah, right behind that truck, right, well, that white thing.
Oh, right here?
Right,
Is it right in here? Is it?
Yeah.
come on down, come on down, about where,
Right.
right about in there is where there's a drain, a big one.
Right, how far of a distance is that? Is that within our 75 feet?
Oh, yes. That's only like 15, yeah.
Okay.
That's just a layer too, so. that's-
So it very well may have been somebody put it in a private catch basin and most likely tied it into.
No, it looks like the city, it's huge. You can stand up and it's all concrete, big steel grate on top.
It's got two,
Yeah, it's
So
got,
the question is it?
We can step up there.
Yeah.
in the drain tile is
Let's
green
investigate,
plastic.
See whose catch basin that is. Is it working? You know, if it's elevated to where it needs, or if it where it needs to be, then start from there.
We gotta go to Fremont anyway, so we'll stop in and.
We actually have to have about a foot
Yeah.
of water on our property in order for that drain to skim the water from that. You know, we've had as high as 17 inches in our store because of all this. That's a lot of water.
As long as that drain's not elevated, just so it doesn't run back out of it.
That's what I was just thinking too.
Oh, you can
No.
stand up in it. It's
You
deep.
know, when the water's flowing through there heavily though.
Yeah.
It can still,
Charge that elevation, yeah.
yeah,
It's probably all undersized. It is, this is a bad area. This lady had, was it this lady?
Yeah.
That always has
Had
water.
the lake.
Yeah.
Somebody put a paddle boater yard.
Yeah, that always has water.
You can actually see the lake there, can't you?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
And there is other drains. We actually get the water from the mechanic shop there also. He comes onto our property. He's tiled into one of the main drains on the east side of the building.
But before the updated tile, those drain basin things that you guys are talking about, it was like an overflowed toilet, but the water would just bubble up out.
Back out.
Yeah,
It
until
was
we were
just horrible.
completely flooded.
So it has, that portion that was fixed has done, you know, it doesn't do that anymore, but it's still not 100% where. Our
Well, my point
store's
to
not
that would
damn.
be, that's what the drainage assessment is for us to fix that. So if we keep working that direction, hopefully we can find a resolution for this problem.
And again, I feel good about it. Downstream was fixed last year, so we just need to keep. Again,
I see if there was a drain on the east side of the main building of our property there, if there was a big enough drain right there, it would solve everything. Because that's where we get all the water, because everybody tips into us.
Yeah, we did.
It'd be right by the back side door there is, you know, if there was a big,
that solid blue line is all what's new and
We did a major improvement here, lads. There were trees, gigantic trees in the way, blocking stuff.
Go with the action of them going to look at it or
I
investigating.
wish they had already done that.
Yeah.
We'll definitely look at it. There's a neighbor to the east too that's been having some issues too, where Shiver's Pond is too. Again, I think we're about out of money until we get our spring collections in
June.
June, then we'll have some.
And then, I mean, it's a very healthy amount that we're getting, that we're gonna be bringing in now to address a lot of the issues that have been spent.
I think it was maybe $6,000 or $7,000 a year, and now we're bringing in close to 50. Is that correct?
60.
60, so.
So yeah, that's really gonna let us hopefully eventually just get that whole thing replaced.
How long ago, when was the flood?
We went there last Friday. We were here talking with her, I think on Tuesday. Yeah, Monday or Wednesday, because it had been raining all this time. Wednesday, we even got more rain. And so Friday we came back to check things and we took the pictures and immediately came up here, but Michelle had already left.
So between Tuesday and Wednesday and Friday, basically,
Sunday storm and Wednesdays.
and Wednesdays, yeah.
And there was approximately 4 to 6 inches that had been in there based on, you could see the photos.
You having the same, historically, has it been doing the same thing in past?
Before the drains. Otherwise, we would, before you guys
Like an
replaced all
inch
the
or
drains.
less, we would get a little,
Yeah.
but not enough to where it was damaging merchandise and we're kitchen stuff because now it's a loss. We were really affected for that in 2018 when we had to go in there and do all that emergency repair, which is what made the unit so much in debt in the first place because the town was begging us and it was bad.
Yeah, the fire department was out there pumping us.
Yeah, pumping water out of our parking lot.
Yeah.
I would assume that drain is probably relocated too. I doubt that it makes that funny shape underneath that building and probably need to do some update. We'll try to do the best we can to try to find it and correct that. Greg can fix that squiggly line and try to put it back where it's supposed to be. Is there a catch basin at all or anything on the east side of the track, or the west side of the tracks here that you know of?
Yes, there is.
There is, and about where is it?
I would say right out in that area.
If not back this way a little.
And see what all that grass there, but what we don't understand is why that parking lot wasn't cocked the other way so that he could take his own. Because once it hits the US 120, we get all of that and then it hits his parking lot and it just swirls. I mean, it's just like a waterfall, an ungodly amount of water.
The dark spot that's on the parking lot behind that white truck, yeah, right there. That's all the mud and dirt that comes off of 120
Yeah.
that builds up
his
in our
parking
parking lot that we have to bring in our skid loader Bobcat thing.
And dig the dirt out.
We'll grab that snake that we bought the other week and poke around a little bit, see what we can find.
But if there was a drain put right where the side door is, you'll see a little roof go the other direction up towards the main part of the building,
Other side, other way.
other building.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Go up
No.
and, yeah, in front of that, but right there, that,
Yeah,
Yeah.
now if there was a drain, if you go another 2 inches to your right, to your right. Right there, if there was a drain right there, that would eliminate everything. It would all be done.
that's where everything flows to.
Yeah, everything flows.
Because that's the lowest part of that entire thing.
And there's actually a drain probably, I don't know if the city did it or who, but they put in a clay tile about 2 feet down, only about maybe 15 feet away. If it was attached to that, and I don't know where it goes.
So if it's within the right of way, can we put in a catch basin and tile that to the main?
I would hope so.
That is a 75 foot right of way.
Make improvements within the right of way. I don't think there's any question.
Okay.
Without having to have a hearing, I mean, because the rates will not need to go up, I mean, you're gonna have enough to pay for it.
I'll have to take a look at that, but I know you can do improvements within the right of way. Question is how it's paid for, I guess.
Sure.
Maintenance,
Yeah,
But Michelle, that is not a urban drain, correct? That is a 75 foot right of way.
that, I have not seen anything where it's ever been made an urban drain, but
Greg, how far is that from that dark area to the main approximately where we could, yeah, from here, from there?
you don't even know if that's the right location.
Yeah.
Even
Could be
so,
within.
we can kind of cheat that.
Well, I think,
We'll go up there and look at it.
and I think have the town of Fremont involved as
Okay.
well, let them know what's going on. And so I think some of this issue is, with, they need to be involved with the design. Yes.
Is that still Jeff Olds, you guys know?
Jeff, I think is still part of the street department, yes.
Just out of water now.
He's out of water. Oh, he's out of water. That might be Krieger. Gregor.
Joe Critton,
Yeah.
yes. We have an issue at his house.
Yeah, I'll be here next meeting.
What, part does the state have in this?
Well, it's 120, so they probably have some in it as well.
You're gonna be in there right away.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about their,
Double
what they
water.
do with their water.
But
Yeah, that's why they paid 3 times the rate, or 2 times the rate, is because of how much surface runoff they have.
What's the role of water as a common enemy, right? Yeah, so. So we'll try to get out there and get some answers. Okay.
This week for sure, most likely tomorrow.
Appreciate it.
Obviously, what we've done, a little work we've done has helped.
It's up, yes.
So, we're trying to work forward to that.
I just don't think that, you guys don't have the drains documented,
Correctly.
exactly. Because that one big drain, you guys could actually have been to it.
Yeah, I know.
You'd be surprised.
That's what we put in at like 1910, and it was just by degrees and at certain terms, the feet, so yeah, it's really hard to.
Yep.
Okay,
That's fine.
It's not likely to change your rate, but we can get it fixed.
Thank you.
I'm willing to pay our taxes as long as I don't have to keep cleaning mud and water and losing material out of our store.
It's kind of like going to the mechanic shop and you pay the bill and you still got the problem.
Senior. 19.
yeah,
I didn't know senior, I knew junior.
All right, number 6, review of proposed ordinance. Creating an operating fund for the county drainage board.
yeah, that we start one at a time. Just get the ordinance going, then we can mess with fees later.
This would be fees for reviews of,
Yes, reviews of, development plans, variances, there's just a whole bunch for the fees, but this one is just gonna be for just establishing funds.
See this stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much.
So I would say
Yes.
yes.
Where's Michelle's help?
Once the guys are.
I was, because I know we started it with, Cruz, so that's right. Thank you.
Yeah, we got the bond numbers, yeah.
I don't number them, but
I don't
the
know.
auditor did some, we could get a number for, you could pass it over.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Three, then we can have a good number.
I've done that before.
Was that limestone breaking on? Yes, we'll find out that one at the next meeting.
Doesn't look like it.
I'll entertain a motion for the first reading.
Yeah, first reading. I'm all new to this ordinance thing, so.
make a motion to approve an ordinance creating an operating fund for the county drainage board.
Number could be determined later.
Just by title.
Yeah. Yeah, first and second, further discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Now, I do have a question, because this is usually something the commissioners actually establish at ordinances, but can you just pass it on or just have to be done at a commissioners meeting or are you just putting on a different hat?
Just different, I don't think they can do it.
We're in session currently, so.
Okay.
So this is our first reading, we gotta do 3.
I believe.
You can do second and third on the same,
Yeah, on the same day.
by the commissioner's rules that are adopted sometimes.
So at our next commissioners meeting, we can.
Next training board meeting, we'll have a number.
If, probably need to get Kelly,
Yeah,
Mr. Kelly,
yeah.
and have her an ordinance number for it, and then show that we approved the first reading of it today.
She may say, no, you gotta do the next one, that commissioners. I don't know.
And that's okay.
Yeah. Either way, we'll take care of it.
We're considered in session all day long,
All right.
so.
Hey, we're getting somewhere.
Perfect. All right. Okay, do we have anything else, gentlemen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jim called me the other day about a resident out on 600 West. He's Mark Cameron. property out there in 600 West, 250 South.
You go there, Greg.
Right, Munger Green.
I'll rely on you for that. I have no idea what the name of that drain is.
Yep, that's what it is.
So I've lived around here most of my, all my life, and I've watched water run across that property many times. The worst part of it is it's not water from his property. It's water from everybody else's. There is a tile, I believe it goes under 600 West, just north of 250 there. The county's dipped that drain or dipped the roadside. There's actually a tree stump about right where that goes underground and goes across that property. And because that can't handle it, it hits north further. Then there is 2 tile. If you want to go north there, Greg. Yeah, the other north. Yeah. So there's, or to the, stay to the left there. To the
Left.
Yep. So right in there, you can see that ponded water. It's kind of a swamp and whatever. Just back to the south of that, the county's put in 2 more tile. Take the water that first drain can't handle and actually dump that underneath the road. So about where that dark area is, where that line is, I don't know if there's a tile in there or not. Is there a tile in there?
I don't believe so. I know the farmers have tiled a lot of private stuff in there, but yeah,
Not
we give
there.
them an avenue, but no, that wasn't for the reconstruction or anything.
Greg, zoom up just a little bit, will you? Show this is not recorded either. And we can. Okay. Zoom out just a little bit more, Greg. Okay, so really what happened is we need to fix this, Greg, and go up and look at it. There is a structure right here that lets part of the water go through this 15-inch, which is just replaced. I replaced it personally about 10 years ago. The other half of the water runs here and then here. Once it gets here, Michelle, this is not documented in here. We ran a whole new 15-inch solid through here.
It was never regulated or accepted as a regulated drain.
It was never accepted. But the problem with it is through this, if he turns on it, it'll turn green. But they made us run 15-inch solid through here. So Greg and I drove through here. This is flooded all the way up to
That's
the
all
road.
I thought that was further south.
No, it was right through here.
Well, that's a layer too, so it's just not in the right spot.
And that would have been, I remember that S&P.
So that would have been part of the reconstruction plans, and that's what DNR required us to
But
do.
it's not added on the plans. So you're saying we added it, but it wasn't regulated, it wasn't turned into regulated?
If it was on the reconstruction plans, then yes, then that's what needs to be looked at and put on to GIS properly.
Greg, we'll look at that. This is supposed to be connected all the way in through here. And it should be about 10 years ago?
I think the hearing was in 2015, yeah.
Okay.
Other thing we did is all that water that you see back off this way. So from 600 there, it goes up to 650 west and even just a little further. That's all uphill. It's probably almost 25, 30 foot of elevation gain. So all that water from that area heads this way through that field, through this drainage. And there's no way it can handle all that. And it just continually floods that. And it's farm ground that he'd love to plant. But so many times it's flooded out, it just kills whatever's there. It's not due to necessarily his water, but water that he receives from everybody else. I said we'd look into it. It's one of those things that he would probably be willing to even sacrifice some ground if you would could not cut directly through the middle of that and maybe take an open ditch around there, around the north side of his property.
So I know Spark,
That's just a suggestion. No.
he had asked for, to get upsized or something, but then I guess they just wanted to go from, I think it was a 12 to a 18 or 24, and then he was gonna have to pay the difference if he wanted to upsize that big. if we kept it in the same location, that way we wouldn't have to have another reconstruction hearing. And he did not want to do that. So if we upsize that tile, we need to have another reconstruction hearing.
Well, the thing it is, it needs us, you know, this runs along this road to the point that it tries to overcome the road. It's got to cut right underneath the road here. It's not big enough to handle all that water that's coming down through here. I mean, this whole area, and it runs right along 600, and it's going to keep eroding that road bed to the point that we're going to have to do something, because it is right next to the road. And it runs clear up to that wet ground up there. You know, that holds a lot of water in there for us. And it floods that area and it floods the next neighbor. Holds a lot of water that is slower release, but you can't hold all that. Because I tell you that you could canoe down that river any day. What's coming out of that?
Is that tile, that field was tiled too.
Didn't realize that tile went straight across.
Well, there's private tile going through here. I don't know how many years ago, but they ran 50 footers every 40 or 50.
Didn't they just retile back over here? Did they just tile more of this?
They may have.
Yeah, Foxwood Acres bought that, yeah. I think they just tiled some of that. Anyways,
Okay.
I told them I'd check into it.
You gotta take a look at that as well, gentlemen?
We've been looking at it. Every year Spark has an issue.
Yep.
But again, at the time, DNR, I believe, told
We had
Larry or the drainage board that you had to use solid and you could only use a certain size.
Yeah, because there's wetland going through there.
But had it flooded the whole road on, before that was done, did this road flood? Did 200 South flood?
Chrysler used to call all the time and say.
But
yes, it's
before,
flooding.
okay,
Actually, I just went out there this weekend and I flipped the sign because water's halfway across the road. Half that road was underwater.
and what day was
The
that?
south side of it,
What day was that?
last week.
Okay, because we went, what day did we go down there? Greg, and it was receding. You could
Thursday,
pass.
Friday.
Friday, yeah.
Yeah, I actually flipped the sign, so.
Okay. I know that was all down, where it crosses 200 and heads north. This looked really good in here. Because sometimes this floods all the way out if there's a beaver dam up north, so that all looked good through there, where it crosses 200. But
I don't know what the solution is, but.
It's kind of hard to get a solution here until you get eyes and.
Yep. I told him I'd bring it up. It's been a long time problem. And it's just, it generally got worse.
On the record and,
maybe I'm wrong in saying that. Maybe it is. We'll check it out.
just check it out, yeah. Michelle, anything?
Nope.
Don? Yes, sir.
Oh, water standing on 500 south.
Yep,
Um,
there by the fire station.
Good, summer.
And that's, the road is eroding away there.
Shut by,
There's two little wetlands on the south side of the road there.
by Salem, fire station.
Yeah, by the current fire station.
Yeah.
It's to the west of
I
it.
mean, it's been standing there for a week.
Yeah, been across the road here for a while, but.
Probably something we need to take a look at.
Might want to check. Chip sent us an email on that one, on 500, 450.
I went through it. It was probably
I did too.
about a foot deep maybe-ish, but the road's starting to erode underneath it. There's a hole.
Yeah, you can feel it.
So New Year 800.
Well, right there, go back, yeah. That low area right there. Right there.
Yeah.
That's underwater, across the road. And that's the fire station?
That's fire safety.
Fire
Yeah.
station's there.
Greg, do you have your thing on for regulated?
I don't think there'll be trains there.
So it is
There
not
might not
ours.
be one.
There's nothing there.
Fan out. Yeah, oh, yeah.
No, nothing there.
No, nothing even close.
That's just a wetland.
With a road through it.
So we just need to raise the road bed. Till fix the drainage, raise the road bed.
Anybody from the audience have anything? All right, we are adjourned. Recess, sorry. Recess.
That's hard to get used to.
I know.